welcome back to the second half of KISS Community and Connections at My KISS 103.1. Phyllis Jones, you're still your host. You know, during the break, me and Joe were talking, and so I was like, yeah, I need to bring that up. And Joe was saying that, you know, we were told that the money from some of the taxes from your gas taxes was going for construction. Roads, transportation. You know, fix our roads, and like Joe was saying, our roads look a mess. But what I reminded Joe is that, you know, the transportation is a department. Well, when they say 39 cents off for every gallon of gas is going for that, we got to remember that they got to pay the transportation department. So we got to remember that means all the what you want to call it, machinery that's used for the construction of the road, and the manpower that's being paid. All that comes out of that 39 cents per gallon. So when you add that up, you figure it sounds like a lot of money, but after you factor in all this machinery they need and all these people that they hire, it ends up being little of nothing. And like the lottery was told to you that the money from the lottery will go towards education. Well, kind of, sort of, maybe, because this is how it goes. Got to remember, the lottery has a lottery commission, which means it has a bunch of people that work for it. Surprisingly so, the people who work for the lottery department are paid. Out of what? The lottery money. They're paid. So it has to pay itself. So lottery commission is it's funded by us playing the lottery. It's funded by those who play the lottery. And if you actually take the deduction down, amongst the other 50 things, I do, I'm a union officer. So we wanted to find out how much of this big lottery money goes for education. And you'd be happy to know that all the lottery that's played all across Texas actually only funds 1 week of school in Texas. So let's take the lottery thing, the whole lottery issue of paying for education, just throw it out of your head, because it only pays for 1 week of education in Texas. That's it. It doesn't pay any more. So don't get happy and excited, because that's all it pays for. Nothing else. Nothing else. So those two, yes, they do pay for what they say. The taxes for the roads, for transportation. Yes, that's right. But the Transportation Commission has to pay for itself, and which includes the machinery. And I don't know how much the machinery costs that they use, but I imagine it costs over $20,000. Probably costs hundreds of thousands. And if you do it across the roads in Texas, oh my gosh. So that's where that money goes to. So when they tell you where the money goes, they don't break it down, so you don't really find out unless you do a bunch of research studies and and dive in. Then you find out what it actually does pay for, and you'd be surprised to find out it's not paying for what you thought. And so that might be something we need to relook at. And once again, it's your state legislators that you got to relook at this from, not anybody else. Same people that we elect, that we ask the little questions, we need to go back and ask the big questions. And I know I've told you about election, but I haven't given you any dates. And these dates, I'm going to ask our station manager to post them on our Facebook page and our website, so that you'll have them. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. You can write them down, but the dates are from October 22nd to October 26th. The polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And you know, during the early voting time is one of the best times to go, because you have time. There's no lines. You can get in and out, and the nightmares just don't exist at that time. On October 27th, which is a Saturday, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on October 27th, and that's a Saturday, which for a lot of people will work perfect, because they can really get in and out at that time. On Sunday, October 28th, the polls will be open from noon to 5, which again gives you another time to go and vote and get it out of the way. Monday, October 29th to November 2nd, the polls will be open from 7 to 7. So remember, the times have changed. The times will change. So remember, October 27th So October 22nd, excuse me, till October 26th. The polls will be open from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. But from Monday, October 29th till November 2nd, the polls will be open 7 to 7. And that's still early election day. So please remember that. And election day, as we know, is November 6th. And polls open from 7 to 7 that day. But let's try to go vote early, because you will have a Saturday and a Sunday in there to go vote. And you have the Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then you have Saturday, like I said, and then you have a Sunday. So we really won't have many excuses why we don't go and vote this time, because we have a lot of days and times to go and do so. And like I said before, I hope everybody goes and votes early. It's very important that we go vote early. Like I said, when you go vote early, you get out of all the long lines. You get out of the frustration, and it just makes it all our easy. And like I said, you don't deal with the agony of voting. And believe me, it can be some agony going on in the poll system. You don't have to wait in line. It takes away all the other things, all the other nightmares that you have. It takes them all away so that you don't have to deal with them. And I know now everybody wants to know about the new laws of voting. So we'll put it this way, first of all, you have to be a United States citizen. You do know that. You do have to be a resident of Texas. You do know that. You have to be 18 years old on election day. We do know that. But let me talk about that 18-year-old's election day. Do you all know that there's a Texas law that says in every high school, the principal must host a voter registration drive twice a year for those 17 and 2 months? Did you all know that? It's a Texas law. It's actually a law that they got to do this. Do most high school principals do it? Nope. Do most high school principals even know about it? Answer again, nope. Most of them don't. Because we've checked. We've checked, and we've asked superintendents to make sure they let them know that. So I just wanted to throw that in there when I was saying you had to be 18 to vote. The other one is not finally convicted of a felon. Yeah, I said that. And if so, you must be fully discharged the sentence, including any term of incarceration, parole, supervision. It has to be completed. Your probation you cannot be on papers, put it this way, and go vote. We need to remember that. You cannot. I know that lady we all heard about in Dallas, who she was on probation. No one told her she could not go vote. She wasn't, no one said anything to her about it. She went to go vote. She showed the proper ID, and her name wasn't on the books because it was removed. Her name wasn't on the books. So she voted on a provisional ballot. And later it was found out that she, was still on papers, and, she went to court, and she's going to jail for it. She's going to jail for it because no one told her. And she's saying that, a probation officer didn't tell her. No one told her, hey, listen, you can't be on papers and vote. So she did, and that's what happened to her. It wasn't a pretty thing to happen, and it is kind of rough, but, that's the law. And if you're on papers, please don't go vote. And don't do it. Don't do it. But also, what I do want to tell you, anybody, let's go back. If you're doing voter registration, those people that are in the county jail that have not been sentenced, they can register to vote, and they can vote by mail. So if you're doing voter registration, you can go to the county jail. You got to make an appointment time and all that, but you can go to the county jail and you can register them to vote, and you can make sure they get an absentee ballot, and they can vote because they have not been charged with anything. So they can go vote. And like I said, they'll vote absentee ballot, but they can go vote. Now, what do you need to have? All these acceptable forms of identification you need to have. You can have you need to have, first of all, Texas. These are some of the forms: Texas driver's license, a Texas, your voter or registration card. You can have the Texas personal identification card issued by DPS, and you know how to get those. You can use your Texas concealed handgun license, which is really cute. You can use your United States military ID card to go and vote. And you can use your United States citizenship certificate containing a personal photo, and you can use your voter your passport. Those are the only acceptable forms of ID for someone from 18 to 69. I know you heard me say that, but that is true. Because people over that age, certain things will be hard for them to get in nowadays, because then they didn't keep records like they do now. So people who are that old will be able to bring an ID with them it could be 5 years old. They're allowed to bring that to come and vote. But that's for those that are 70 and above. They will be allowed to do that. If you change your name changes, you got to remember that you have to let them know that your name has changed, so that it won't be one way in the book and another way on your card. Make sure that you do. Make sure that that's up to date and ready to go. And also you need to remember that Bell County has new voting machines. They have the old ones too, but they have the new voting machines. So, brush up on those, read about it. You can find more out about the kind of machines that we do have now, but they did update them, which was very good, because that brings us in line with the rest of the world as far as voting and how we can do it. So that's really good. I like it. We need to move up, because we're using, like I said, the ways we were using, and it was a bit old and a bit archaic for us to be using when we go and vote. When we have your elections, your early voting, remember, you'll have more than one place to go and early vote. So remember those locations. I don't know what they are right now, but they'll be coming out in the paper, and they'll be coming out on the news. And also, we'll make sure that we update you on the website, on our KISS website, I'll say, that of where the locations would be. But remember, on election day, you can only go to your polling site and go vote, just your polling site. So make sure, if you are a staunch election day voter, don't want to vote no other time and all that, make sure that you go to your site and vote. You can't vote anywhere else. Also, if you go and you vote, and at the wrong place, and you're at the wrong place because you moved on one side of town, so you want to go there and go vote, but you're registered over at the other one, and you just want to vote anyway, you'll vote on the provisional ballot. Make sure that you read that provisional ballot all the way through. Make sure you read that folder, that envelope, before you vote on that provisional ballot. Make sure you do. Whether they count or not, it's up in the air. I don't know whether they do. Also, if you want to vote, you go into the polling place, your name's not on the book, you can also vote on the ballot, but you're going to sign a form, and the form is saying that what you're saying is true. So the form will be saying, like, this is you. You're saying on this form, this is you. This is where you live, whatever. You're registered to vote. You're saying all that. And you fill out the form, and you get to vote. If you turn out that you're not a registered voter and you got to vote, they can find you for that now. But you sign a declaration saying that, I am. And they find out that you're not. Yes, it's a fine. And Texas is getting kind of tough on it. But they're actually going after people for saying that they're a voter and they're not. So make sure that you're registered to vote. We're not one of the states where you can register and vote the same day. You do have some states in the United States where you can do that, where you can actually do that. Well, we're not. We're not at all. So let's not do that, because that's not what we do. And so we need to remember that we don't. And because you have I've worked a lot of elections where you've had somebody walk up and say, I want to register to vote, and then vote. And, that's okay, but Texas isn't one of those states, so we don't do it. I don't see us doing it anytime in the future. That's another thing that I guess I'll say we're in control of, and we can change it if we need to change it. But as of right now, no. And as far as working the election, a lot of people, we are short of people working the election. So when you work the election, you have to go to whatever party you vote in. Or either, contact our person in charge of voting, our election clerk, and see how to work the elections also, because people work the early elections as well as they work election day. We have a lot of locations in Killeen where you have to have a Spanish-speaking clerk working there. So we need to make sure, and also those are things you need to make sure when you go vote. Make sure that the people there, if you're Spanish speaking, make sure there's a Spanish speaking person there. If not, you can request one. You don't have to fumble through, the paperwork to try to understand how you can actually do that. And remember, you cannot take your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever with you to vote, stand next to you and tell you how to vote. Can't do it. We always have people who try to do that. You can't do it. I'm very sorry. The person can take a cheat sheet in there. You can take a cheat sheet in there and go vote. You could do that. Can you have your cell phone in there while you vote? You're not supposed to. The law says your phone is supposed to be off. So don't call your girlfriend and say, hey, or your friends or whatever, and say, hey, you know what? Who should I vote for? Number here. No. You can't do that. Can't do that at all. That is against the law. It can't be done. So let's not try to modify a law that is already exists and do that. But you can take a cheat sheet with you. You can even download a sample ballot. Check it off, and you can vote with that. You can do all those things, but you cannot take someone in there with you to tell you how you should vote. So let's not do that. Let's don't get the whole ball rolling and we find out that we can't vote because we're doing something unlawfully wrong. Also, for those of you who vote election day, if you get in line and the polling site runs out of ballots and they tell you to leave and come back, don't do it. Don't leave. No, just wait. If they make a copy of the ballots, if your polling site is then making copies of a ballot, that's an iffy situation, because the machine, if you're using the old way, because remember, you have a choice now. This time you have a choice. If they run out of ballots, the paper ballots that they print off won't go into the machine. They have to physically put them into the machine. So I don't know if I don't know your feelings about that, but be careful. When the polling site closes at 7 on the election day, if you're within the building, stay there and wait. If you're outside the building and they're not, they're saying, you're the last person, then you're the last person. But if the machines go down, don't leave and come back. I'm saying it again, do not leave, never leave and come back. If they run out of paper ballots because that's what you're choosing to vote on, they run out, wait until they get some more. Do not leave. They can't force you to leave, but you do have a right to stay. If it's after 7 o'clock and they haven't bought the new ballots yet because you voted on the paper one, still don't leave, because guess what? You have a right to vote. Remember that. So, and they can't take that vote away. They can't take that right away from you and say, well, polls are closed, and guess what? We don't have nothing. You can't vote. So that's not true. So I want you to remember all these things that we've been talking about elections. And before I close, I'm going to give you the dates again. And like I said, I'm going to put them on my Facebook page, Community Connections Facebook page. I want to put it, ask Kiss, our station manager, Trey, to put it on our website so that people will know and be informed. So I'm going to give you the dates again before we close. October 22nd to October 26th. The polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, October 22nd, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday, October 28th, the polls will be open from noon to 5 p.m. On Monday, October 29th to November 2nd, the polls will be open from 7 until 7. On Election Day, as you know, the polls are open 7 to 7, except for on Election Day, you have to go to your polling site. Can't go to the one you were going to for early voting because they're not there. But remember, you have to go to yours and vote. Please remember those dates. Like I said, yes, I'm going to post them again. We'll talk about them again as they come throughout the week. Mels will talk about them during his time when he's on the show, because we want you to be two things. I want you to, first of all, be an informed voter and go vote. And I want you to remember that your candidates, all these candidates, they cannot vote for you if they don't talk to you. So it's a mutual thing. Seek them out, find them, email them, Facebook them, call them, ask them whether they feel on certain issues that you have a heartburn with, and see what they say. And you know what? Don't vote for your friends because they're your friends. Because they could be your good friend, but a lousy candidate. So don't do that. Don't vote for your family because they're your family. Because like I said, good family members, lousy candidates. And we sometimes get caught up in our feelings when we go vote and go, oh yeah, well, I've been knowing this person for 20 years and they always did the right thing. That does not make them a good candidate. That does not. They don't, If I was running for office, don't ever elect me as your candidate, because I won't be a bad candidate, but I don't do the bartering system because, I don't know how to play the game. I'm the one that's going to kick the door in, stand on your desk and tell you what my people want. But playing in a political way, I can't play it that way. It's not right. So if I was ever running for office, don't vote for Phyllis. Don't. Just don't. She's the radicalistic person that you don't want on your, you don't want, But like I said, don't vote for your friends because they're your friends. Don't vote for somebody because of their color of their skin, because we got lousy people of all colors. Don't vote for somebody strictly because the party said so. Yes, they're good. Well, they might not be good. So be an informed voter and make sure you vote issue based. I'm not saying don't vote party based, but make sure that you vote issue based, because right now where our city is going, we might be speaking all kind of languages at the end of this year and not know who we're talking to. But so if you're happy the way things are, don't vote. If you're not happy, go vote. So I would like to thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections at 103.1 this morning. I know I gave you a lot of information, but I'll give it to you again as time gets close, because this is important that we do what we need to do to change the way that things are going. So we need to vote, 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 vote. Make sure your kids go vote. Everybody go vote. And I want to thank you for listening once again. And I would like to let you know and remind you that you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. I'm going to talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.